All right, traders, we're going to get started. Let me do a quick little audio check if you guys can hear me okay. All right, looks like everyone's just logging in right now. Just give it another minute. We're going to get started. All right, looks like everyone is ready to go, and it is a little bit over 2:15. All right, everyone. So let's get the ball rolling here. All right. So anyway, my name is Fausto Pugliese, president founder of CyberTrade University, and hopefully you guys have And basically, for some of you probably watch me. I've been a big fan of Bookmap and probably been with them since the day they started. And always here every month to kind of go over a couple of things that are moving in the market, talking about how to trade using Bookmap and what we're looking at and so on. I'm going to teach you my style of what we look for, what we're trading for. And then what I like to do is invite you all to come to my trading floor. You know, I've been doing this for over 35 years. Crazy how time flies, 35 years. But yeah, I mean, it's out of all the platforms that I've used, I'm going to show you specifically how I trade and how I trade the stock market. Now, you know, you could see here, we're looking at a basic platform. I got level 2 quotes right here. Time and sales, watch list, you know, 2 charts, very simple, no indicators, no nothing. And a high and low list of what percentage gainers and losers. So kind of keep things short. Right here is our trading floor. And you can see right now we're showcasing, we are using basically TradeStation. Right now we roughly have close to about 200 traders in the room right now. It's right in the middle of the day. Usually things start picking up around the last hour of the close. And then the first hour, we got our alert service talking about some of these stocks right here that are moving that we're giving alerts on. And let me just make sure I don't hear anything. Okay, great, because we're going to be doing a live broadcast in about 15 minutes here on our trading room. So right now they're looking at a stock called Archer. Now, I don't know anyone here what they traded or what you're looking at, but I was a market maker. I live here in New York, the financial capital of the world. I was traded by some of the best traders in the world. I do a lot of presentations for NASDAQ, teach you how to use something called NASDAQ Total View, which is basically a fraction of the power of Bookmap. So you can see right here, we're looking at Archer. It's making a big move. Now, I don't know if you guys have looked at some of the stocks, but drone stocks have been doing pretty well lately, last couple of days. Actually, the past couple of weeks. So I want to bring up Archer right here because it's one of the stocks that we own, and you could see Archer right here had a really, really big support levels. Now, if you look right here, hold on a second. Here we go. So why don't you look at this right here. So does everybody see this right here? This is our morning watch list. It was at 9:18. And if you go back here, this is a little pre-market, and I want you to look right here, which you can see again right here, Joby, Archer. Everybody see those right there? SBET, Rigetti. That was what we traded, a recap, and that was done on the afternoon. So you could see how those stocks have performed from yesterday to today. If I bring up the long-term chart, here's the intraday chart. You can see how Archer, and you can see how the stock was basically $10. It's up to $13, push it up really, really strong. Now, Archer is not really the big winner that's happening right now. The big winner was this one right here, was Joby. Now, Joby, if you look right here, this stock started at $10. It's already at $18, and it's been pushing up really well. Now, there's been a lot of news on, obviously, regarding about drone stocks, and these are more air taxis and military stocks, and obviously you know what's going on with the war and stuff. And there's a lot of stocks that are moving, by the way, in our watch list. But these specifically I want to bring up because they really have good block orders. So I want to bring up Bookmap right here and show you what we're looking at right here. And here's Joby. So you could see here how things look very, very different than some other book maps that you've seen other presenters use. Now, what I want you to focus on here on, we're looking at what's happening this morning. The stock started around 16. You can see Joby's already close to about 18. Now, what I want you to focus on is this. I want to zoom in, and I use my mouse. You know, I go like this. You can see how if I go up, it's like making it, moving it. And I'm clicking. I'm going to move over here. And I want you to focus on this right here. You see these big red lines right here? Let me make them a little bit bigger. See that line right there? See that one right there? Okay. So this is called a ladder effect. Now, I want to bring this up over here. If I move it closer to the wall right here, you see it says 180,000 shares. Okay. I'm going to move this over here. 180,000 shares. Everybody see that? So those are two big monster block orders. Now, if you notice, they were out, they showed up, the stock went up, and he canceled. And then this guy showed up here. See that guy right there? If I zoom him over here, see it's 180? See it's almost the same number? Okay, so that's a guy basically what he's doing. He's basically buying it and he's selling it. He's making himself about 50 cents on the trade. But did you notice what happened here? You see that green ball? Okay, that green ball means that order was executed. You see, this order was really not executed. You could tell by the ball is kind of small. Some people call it a dot. I like to call it the ball, whatever you prefer to call it. But it looks like he kind of canceled some of it, but this order he got filled. Now, he probably wasn't intended to sell it, but he did get executed. So what happened here, he came back. And you'll notice that he never got executed. Now, this is the catch what I want you to see right here. Do you notice that it was down at this price right here and the number and it upped about 5 cents? That's called a ladder up. We call that laddering. So basically, he never got executed. He wanted to buy it. Now, you'll notice right here, he never got executed. See that ladder right there? He never got executed right there. So what that tells me is that this guy was a real big buyer right here, and he never got executed. So you notice how the stock went from 16 to 60 all the way up to the 17.50. That is a dollar move in a matter of, 30 minutes? So, I mean, $1 and 1,000 shares, $1,000, it's $250,000 salary. I don't think anyone is neglecting, not taking, looking to take that profit. But what happened, he probably never got filled. So as a market maker like myself, the way we look at this is this. See all the green balls that are going up? It must have been him, and he must have been executing the offer as it was going. And what that means is he basically was out here, and he was executing these sellers on the offer. Remember, that is a limit order, okay? Meaning it's on the bid. If you're out there trying to buy it and you put a limit order, the only way you're going to buy it if someone sells it to you. Obviously, nobody was selling it to him. So he obviously wanted to buy it. The only way he could buy it, he has to buy it from a seller, which is on the offer. So he could have been executing this order all the way up to here, and that's how we got to 17.50. And you notice there's another green ball? This order right there was 34,000. Now, that was nothing like the 180,000. Okay, Fausto, please refresh your screen. Hold on 1 second. Sure, hold on 1 second. Screen share. And all right, just trying to share here. Hold on 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, can everybody see that again? Sorry about that. Looks like a broadcasting live. All right, so there we are again. Sharing screen. All right, so getting back to the Bookmap order. Looks like am I sharing? I'm just double checking here. So right here, if you look at that order right there, you'll see how the stock literally went up, broke 18, and now the stock is obviously getting laddered down. There are more and more sellers out there posting orders out there. See it right there? So there you have your orders. And let me get back to normal. Now you can see that the stock, obviously, somebody laddered down even more. Now we went from 18 down to 1870. So we got a lot of what we call kryptonite. So you got 56,000 shares. Share the entire screen. Hold on one second. There we go. All right. Hopefully that works out a little better. So now you can see right here, there's some big sellers right here. And now you can see how it's hitting resistance level of $17.80 to $18. So a lot of sellers right here trying to hold down the stock. So not only there was an order here that showed up, but this is here. So I like to call this the right of the chart. The right of the chart are the orders. And remember, what drives stocks go up and down? Buyers and sellers. So with a lot of sellers out there, obviously resistance, a lot of buyers, a lot of support. But what really made the stock run up is these big buyers out here. Now the question people ask, okay, well, how high is it going to go? Well, to be a good day trader or even a swing trader or an investor, you got to have a game plan, okay? Because this day trade turned into a swing trade. And there are always going to be resistance levels as we move on. There's always going to be sellers. So what you try to do is over here where the current order book, you'll sit there and you could stretch and stretch and stretch, and you could see we can go all the way up to about $29, $30. And a lot of the big buyers there's one big buyer here at 14, which is obviously relevant. That's just an order out there. But there's really the big sellers, and no one's really out there after 18. So if we can get past 18, this stock could really make a big run up. Now let's talk about let's get back to, what are we looking at before? I told you Archer, right? So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to type in Archer. I'm going to bring up the data on Archer. All right, here's Archer. Now you notice when I scroll, I'm only able to go back an hour. So I got to click this arrow right here. And I'm going to say, okay, show me 6 hours. So I have to load it up. Getting some data here. There we go. All right, good. Now I can zoom out a little bit further. Now you can see as I'm zooming out, it's getting cleaner and cleaner and easier to read. Now look at this order right here. This is a little bit easier to see. You can see here's pre-market, and there was a big order right around here, around the 1270, right? And then you could see right here, there was program trading that kicked in right around $13. And now the biggest seller here is at $13.50. Now we have something that's called, that we teach here at CyberTrade University, is called a Fausto flag, okay? An FF flag. Some of you might look at as bull flags or bear flags. We call them Fausto flags because to us it's called consolidation, okay? Consolidation, what that means is that there are orders out here, buyers are outbidding the sellers. So as you have a buyer out there, it's testing the seller pushes the stock down, the buyer bids it up higher, the seller is still out there, the buyer bids it up higher, and then you can see it's kind of building a Fausto flag. It's called consolidation until we get to this price, and now the order got filled. And remember, there are two ways of registering and understanding if the order got filled or the person canceled. And this is obviously an execution, so you can see right there that bull got filled. And that's where that came into play. That order right there got filled. So now we'll look at the stock and like, okay, well, where's the next resistance levels? The next resistance level is 1350, but you notice that he canceled his order right here. It wasn't as much as it was right here. He kind of canceled it. And he probably went from 136,000 down to 86. And then you see here at 14. And now we're going to go a little bit further. You see any other resistance levels? Nope. So now you see the resistance levels there. Now we're going to go to Archer. And we're going to check it out. Now we're going to go long term. And we can see the high right here is just around $14. We put this over here. Guess what? Kind of coincidental. 136,000 share seller out there. Major resistance levels back in May 15th. Kind of makes sense. You see how you can confirm a resistance levels from the past to see if it's going to be in the future? And that's the power of using a Bookmap. Now, here's the question. Where's the next resistance levels we get past 14? So I'm going to go back next year. Not seeing it. Going back next year. I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. So I went back all the way till 2021. It's the furthest I can go back on my chart. And you could see that this is all-time highs right here. Okay? So where's all-time highs on Bookmap? Well, technically there are some. You got 94,000 at 15, another 91,000 at 17. If I keep stretching further, nothing really out there. So it's really those two orders. So you could see how 13, 1350, 14 is a big resistance. If we can get past these numbers right here, then you could see this stock running off, making a big run. And guess what? Joby did the same thing. Let me go to Joby. Look what happened here to Joby. Okay, Joby, just the ending of June was around $9.850 a share. It literally is up almost more than a double. Okay? Now, when I go back and I look in the past in Joby, do you see any resistance levels? No. I mean, this stock broke all-time highs. Do you notice what happened? It broke all-time highs back at $14.30. It's called a gap fill right there. Look where we're at. We hit almost 18. When we go to Joby, here's 18. But there's really no resistance other than until maybe 20. There's no one out there unless someone shows up. So that is how we kind of play it. Now, let me just go over here. Josh right now is doing an afternoon meeting in our cyber group room, which, by the way, you're all invited to come to CyberTrade University. You could subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We could post up the link right there if you guys want to register, but basically, you can just go to, let me type it in over here. Post alert. Okay, comes every day at www.ctu.co/free. Okay, has everybody got that? So you guys could join this trading room if you want. It's going to post that alert right there so you guys could see it. Come see us live every day at that number right there. All right, so right now they're looking at the stock VLCN. You could see that Josh right now is talking. Hold on, I don't know if you could hear this, but let me turn off the mic.
Remember joining us, we're very specific when we tell you, this could be a swing trade. So we would say those words. It's great to ask, but your first assumption, especially for these low float, small cap, garbage stocks, they're typically just flavor of the day.
So Josh is one of the instructors right now. So at 2:30 Eastern time. We're doing an afternoon meeting, get prepared for the afternoon. I do mine at 9 a.m. in the morning every day to prepare the open. And then we have Rich, we have John, we have just a bunch of new traders, instructors in here. But you could see what we're doing is we're basically browsing a bunch of stocks that are moving. Now, just kind of give you a little heads up what we're doing there is what he's doing is he's working off the big percentage gainers, and we're finding stocks that have very good spreads, good volatility, and good iceberg orders. Like this one right here. Hold on, let me bring this up. I got to clear out some of these things off my watch list. I'm going to take some of these off. Hold on a second. Oh, I kind of want to show you a trade. Before I do that, let me show you a trade that we did today. LCID. Does everybody see that trade right here? LCID. I want to bring this up really quick. LCID. Let me show you this trade. So this was actually a pretty good one. So do you see what happened with LCID? Went all the way up to about this stock. They just signed a deal. Lucent, the electric car company with Uber, and the stock went from like 220 all the way up to about 350. Now this was a swing trade. Just want to point this out and show you what you got going on over here. So if you've been following us, we've been talking about this stock for a while, and you could see here that this stock had a major support levels right around $2 for a long time. So back in November, it dropped down. It went back up to $3.50, came back down, went to $3, came back down. It had a lot of support. This really was the number right here. So the stock was building, the stock was an $80 stock, but it's built a lot of support levels here. So we're finding a lot of buying going on right now with the stock on the offer. So on a swing trade, we're like, hey, you know what? We had a big pop right here. And the stock went from 210 to about 232. I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. So, you could see it build a big support. We might buy at the low and sell at the high. So we kind of got lucky on this trade right here and with the news. And, you could see how the stock shot up all the way up to about here. Okay. And you could see clear as day, like the resistance levels is right around here, around 350. Back in February, back in October, back in July. This is all last year. Even a little bit over here, back in February of last year. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring over Bookmap and show you. This is really cool. So when I zoom out, this is pre-market, and you can see there are no orders out there. But you see where the big order was? 350. And if you look at that number, that's 2.1 million shares being sold. All right. Now, if it broke that, you can see the next biggest sellers there are 4. But you notice how there's a huge stack of orders right here. $3.50, $4, $3.40, $3.30, $3.20, tons and tons of sellers. You notice how the stock didn't go anywhere? It kind of held right there. It's not because the chart said so. It's not because the news was as great as they thought. You got a shitload of sellers trying to get out. And that's what's happening. So when we got out, we sold the stock. We got out of it. We took a profit on it. But, overall, it hasn't gone anywhere. And the reason why is, listen, you're like, well, why'd you sell it? Look, it's got great news. You know what? I don't have a problem paying $3.50 if it breaks $3.50. Let it break $3.50, and then, then I'll buy it back. But you can never go broke taking a profit. Now, I know some of us here, we feel like we sell things too early, too cheap. But listen, the power of following the right of the chart is following the orders. And that's how we basically trade. So, once again, this is really the style that we work off. We work off the big percentage gainers, find out what's moving, what's got good volatility, see stocks that got good run-ups, like DRPO looks like it's moving, 40%, 23 million shares. We want to make sure it's got good spread. We can get in and out of it. The trend looks nice. But before we ever want to buy a stock, which you never want to chase, you just got to go back and check and see what the orders look like. So let's just say if I did want to trade this stock, I'm going to check out and see what the orders look like. And right away, you can see these numbers starting to show up. That changes 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 hours. Need a little bit more data. But yeah, you could see, like, look at this seller right here was done at 7. Just got to update a little bit. There you go. So you can see here, big order show up here around 5, shot up over here to 7, hit that resistance. This is program trading. Backed off. Buyers started showing up around $6. Never wanted to break it. Took this guy out at 7. Now we're going to be testing this person out here around 725, which is not as many shares as this was. And if it breaks that, 750, and boom, we're off to the races. So does it look like a buy to me? Well, if you go to here and look at our CyberClock, it says 2:30 to 3 is a good time to trade, which is right now. So again, that's why we're getting a little bit of push. 3 to 3:30 is kind of like shake zones, and then the last 30 minutes, 3:30 to 4 o'clock, you get your last hour push. So, and that's why they're bringing up the stock in this cyber group room. But that's basically it. That's how we kind of do it. So if you kind of want to join us at CyberTrade University, like I told you, if you want to come and join the trading room, right there, www.ctu/free, or you can go to our website. www.ctu.co/free. And you can click and sign up right here. And basically, we'll give you a couple of good workshops, a couple of workshops on Bookmap. Got a little bio of me being a market maker. You can see we got one of the highest reviews that you could ever get in Google for some people. You got a video of me presenting at NASDAQ, showing you exactly how to use something similar to Bookmap, but not even close. You know, and obviously you got a lot of testimonials and stuff you can kind of read on it. All right, traders? So that's about it. That's all I got for you for today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And, hold on. I'm sorry about that, if I took that down. And what I'll be happy to do is, like I said, I'm a big fan of Bookmap, always will be, and we use it every single day. So if you guys want to come and join us in the trading floor and kind of see what we do all day with Bookmap and get our alerts and stuff, just click over there, click sign up here, and we'll get you registered. All right, traders? So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks, Bookmap, for having me again. I'll see you back here next month. Or actually, I'll see you back tomorrow.